I really like this guitar in this setting, right? That was the bridge position, guys, but listen to this sucker in the second position. It's kind of quacky in that second position. You know, I tried to find specs on this guitar, and it was produced in 2010, and it's kind of hard to find any real specs on it. I found a couple reverb listings. I found an old Washburn brochure on the RX10, RX15, RX20, and RX25, which was the RX product line, but it really didn't tell you what the second position is doing. Whether it's a single coil here in this pickup, or whether it's the humbucker or single coil. It's meaty, so I'm kind of thinking maybe that's like the humbucker in the single coil. And the fourth position's kind of cool in it too. It's got a cool sound to it. Now I don't have a lot of gain in this, guys, so I played the guitar once before where it really gained up, and it does that well. I wanted to try something a little different. It's actually a little quacky. It's a cool guitar. So I am going to have to get up and actually turn off my tube amp, because we're only going to play that during the opening of the stream. I'm going to use the modeling amp to kind of go through some clean sounds after we kind of look over the guitar. And if you can't tell, I've already done the first improvement on the guitar. If you look right here, I have installed a string tree on the guitar. What was happening is on a locking nut, okay, a lot of times companies will pitch the headstock back. The reason they do that is there's an angle to the nut. When this piece comes back and locks the string in, that's cut in on an angle. Well, this neck's set straight. So what was happening is the string comes straight across here, and when you would lock it down, the lock nut, the locking mechanism, would push down on the string and then really increase the pitch of the string. So what I've done is I've brought this locking nut really close to the nut here, because there's not a lot of room here for the locking nut, and I'm going to have to shave down the truss rod cover wherever I put it. But now it will not fit between the two screws, which is no big deal. I just need to cut it down and put it in. But now when you loosen this and you tune with the upper tuners, when you lock it, it does not change tune. Before, it's so bad. I had a Firefly one time that had the same issue. When I went to lock it, Firefly was using a real cheap pop metal here, and actually stripped the screw because there was so much pressure on that string. Because you're basically retuning the string. You're putting more pressure. It takes a lot of there's a lot of pressure on that screw without that string tree. So that has made a difference in tuning. So now with it's unlocked, you tune it, you lock it, and it just barely changes. It's like a half a cent. It's as close as I can get it, because the center ones are dead perfect and the two outer ones are off maybe a half a cent. So that's telling me the arc here is not perfect to the radius of the nut. And I'll be honest with you, I don't think I've ever seen one that is perfect on all 6 strings. Usually most people just set it to the E strings, and then whatever the center strings give you. You kind of split the difference. It may go a little sharp here and a fraction flat here. Maybe a quarter cent, half a cent. People run with it. So let me unplug this. I'm going to turn off the one amplifier. Well, I'm going to at least turn the input down on it. Okay, let's take a look at this guitar. This is this month's guitar giveaway, and hopefully I don't have enough cantilever on that and it's going to fall over on me. That would really suck. It seems like it's going to stay there, but it is very crooked. I did make another adjustment to this particular microphone. We'll see how well it's doing. I know we did a stream about a month ago and everyone said that it sounded very funny. I only have one good channel strip, and that's on this one. So don't have one for this one, but I am using the factory compression and EQ in the AG08 on this one. So this model is an RX25. It was produced in 2010. And it's not new, guys. It's 2010. And it does have 3 dings on the top of the body, but it is a real pretty sunburst body. And for 2010, it has an angled seat cut here. So you got to think this was 15 years ago. Companies are just now crowing about doing this. Washburn did it 15 years ago. Look at how thin that gets right there. You know, at first I was like, oh yeah, it's got the standard. And then I thought, I was like, oh, it's a 2010? Wow. Washburn was way ahead of the game on doing this. You can see it. This whole section is beveled. This section right here is only about a ½ inch thick. So it's pretty cool. You got to stop and think, it's 15 years ago. So, pretty cool guitar. I think, after looking at the guitar, I think the string tree and the pitch on the headstock. If Washburn would have angled the headstock back to match the nut, or angled it back just a little bit and increased this distance, a little change in the headstock, ½ inch longer between the nut and the E, give us 5 to 6 degrees, you know, maybe 7 degrees on the headstock with a string tree, I think Washburn would have knocked it out of the park. Washburn, they were known for acoustics. You know, Nuno went to Washburn. I think there was a couple other artists that went to Washburn. But Washburn was primarily an acoustic guitar company. And Nuno is kind of like Steve Vai is to Ibanez. I mean, I know Ibanez has other artists, but Steve Vai made Ibanez. The whole new pointy Ibanez, that whole concept was Steve Vai. The whole RG series of guitars, all they did was take the monkey grip off Steve Vai's design. And that's the RG.
Does it have a quarter sawn maple neck?
No, it is a flat sawn maple neck. So it is not quarter sawn. But it is one piece. So there's no joint here. But if you think about, Washburn and what happened to them, they just didn't, they rode the Nuno thing, just too long. I don't know. I know Washburn made awesome guitars. This guitar, if they would have just come out with a second gen and fixed a couple little issues with it, I think it would have been a good seller. But I think not having a locking tree from the factory, people buying this guitar had to have problems with the locking nut and tuning the guitar and then locking it. And I'm sure that put a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths as far as, this issue. Washburn in general should have known better. So I have repaired that and fixed it. But I will say the guitar does need tuners. So in this review, basically we just want to look at the guitar. You can't, unless you go on Reverb and buy one of these used, it's kind of a moot point to review it. So we're reviewing it for those people that are going to enter in on the guitar giveaway. We are going to correct some issues with this guitar. I've already corrected this. There's a little bit of a warp in the neck, so we are going to resolve that. And we're going to put some tuners on the guitar. The tremolo seems to function fine. I have had no problems with the tremolo. And the pickups, I think, sound good. They're kind of quacky. I did the first time I played it, I ran through high gain. I thought the guitar sounded good in high gain. It's humbucker single. It's a very versatile pickup arrangement. So let's just kind of go over the guitar and how it's done. It does have a flame maple top. You can see it, and they have done a burst. And I do like the burst where it's a nice fade. Okay, some guitars, it'll go black, and you actually see like a red band. If you look at this, it's very nicely done. It goes from black, and the color just shifts to a maroon, red, then to the blonde. There's not like a red band. It's a nice transition. I like this. I know some people like it the other way. My personal preference, I like this burst a lot better. I think it's a sharp looking burst. Now it does have a book match joint going right through the center. And looking at the book match joint, there is just a little bit of filler right here between the match joint. But it is definitely a good match. You can see how this is light, and then on this side it goes dark in the flame. And that's what it should do. If it's a true match, the grain is backwards. Okay, when you take it and you go like this, you're flipping it. Okay, so one side the grain's going to go this, the other side's going to go the opposite direction. So you're going to see this when the light hits it. One side's going to be dark and the other side's going to be light.
Steve said this was the last year they made this model.
Yeah, 2010 was the last year. It's a pretty guitar. It's a sharp looking guitar. They've got a binding on it, and I've already kind of looked at it. The binding and the cut on the binding, it's very crisp. I didn't see any filler marks, and I don't see any stain marks in the binding where they mistaped it. So when this guitar was produced, it was done really well. If I look at the binding through here, I don't see a ghost line where they taped off the binding and then sprayed this black. It's quite crisp. Feeling the edge, I don't feel chatter marks. There is a little ding right here in the guitar. But as far as chatter marks from the CNC, I don't feel it. It's a nice smooth. This horn is nice. Don't feel anything in here. It feels nice. It's got a belly carve, and the tremolo cover sits on top of the guitar, and they've only put 4 screws in it. So you can hear there is a little bit of a bounce on the plate to the body there. They do have 4 screws on the electronics. A little bit of a bounce there. And that is single ply. I do see it deflecting a little bit. And feeling it to the body. It's about a 32nd of an inch below the top of the body line all the way around. But it's consistent. That's nice. Feeling our screws. I'm sure that this thing has been apart in the past. I feel a little bit on that screw. And it's not sharp, but I feel the head. Feel the head on this screw. But it's not sharp, but I feel it. That's probably from a screwdriver in the past. These 3 screws, perfectly smooth. There's a little bit of a burr on this one. But looking at it for the age of guitar, now every season your wood contracts and expands. When you put pieces in a guitar, over the years you'll start, when you put the guitar in the light, you might see a line through the guitar. That's from the dissimilar woods. The only spot I see is right here, and it is very, very slight. I can't feel it, but I see it. So there's a seam right here. And if there is a seam over here, I can't tell. But there is a seam right there. I can see it. I can barely see it. It's right there. There's a seam there. So most likely this is a 3-piece body. I doubt they would use one solid piece on a small piece there. Looking at our neck going into the body, it looks like it's tight. So if there is a shim in it, it's going to be really small. Looking at our neck pocket. Now the neck appears to be in the guitar this way. It is touching on this side, and I see a little bit more of a gap down on the lower neck side. And it's tight on that side. The fingerboard does extend over the neck right here, and it has 24 frets. Feeling our frets. Believe it or not, this would probably get a 4 out of 5. The top is really good. There's a spot right in here. I would say a 4 out of 5. It is an extremely basic dressing. So I would imagine when this guitar was new, it was probably a little sharper. But from time of playing it, it's probably rounded these edges over just a little bit. That's kind of what it feels like. That it had an extremely, well, it does have an extremely basic fret dressing. But there's nothing sharp on it. Looking at our frets, believe it or not, for this vintage guitar, I see just a little bit of fret wear right there, and it's just a little bit. I can do that to a guitar in 4 months. So that tells you how minimum the fret wear is there. That's 4 months of playing. Well, my playing. So I don't know how much he played this guitar. It doesn't look like he played it that much. Because there's only that one spot from playing the cowboy chord right here. And what's weird is it's not on the B. Yeah, it's on the B too. So he must have liked playing the C and D chord, or A, C, and D. So it's just that one little spot right there, easy to fix. Really, you don't need to fix it. It's not it's not bad. Checking our nut. The nut is flush on this side, and I do feel the neck on this side. So the nut is just a little undersized for the side of the neck. Again, I've already said the guitar does need tuners. There's a couple really bad tuners on it. The back of the neck does need some work. It's not that it feels rough. It just feels like a neck that's 15 years old, that has not been, hasn't had any love. There's a little bit of roughness right here, but I feel the grain, and that's just from seasonal change. But it doesn't feel scratchy. It'll take very little work to get this neck up to speed. Most of my work will be right in here, because I do feel a funny transition right there where it was sanded. This side's good. So most of the work will be right in here, and then a little bit of sanding on the neck. The back of the headstock feels the same way. I can feel the grain. It's actually not bad. And I can feel the Washburn logo. So we do have dots on the top, and we have the placement dots on the top of the neck here. This is rosewood, and feeling the rosewood to the neck, I cannot feel the transition. All the inlays feel like they're down and smooth. So when this guitar was new, I'm sure that neck felt nice. Our buttons appear to be in the center of the horn there and tight. This one, it's almost centered. It's just a little bit that way to center. Looking down the strings, yeah. The neck has a funny sanding thing going on right here. We can fix that. That's from the factory. They just aggressively sanded between here and here. So there's an issue right here. And this, remember the nut, the neck is sticking out past the nut. So to get this out, basically the neck is doing this where they sanded it. I need to take about a 1/2 millimeter out right here and bring that 1/2 millimeter down to 0 right here, and then rechamfer these frets. And that'll fix that. But they do align. And I did put strings on the guitar, so all the saddles work. There's no strip saddles. The knife edges seem to work rather well. It's returning to 0. Playing our pickups. Yep, this one floats and returns to 0 nicely. And these are pretty well fixed. There's a little bit of movement there. Looking at our routes, this route looks good. There is a retraction error right here. That's where when the machines the pilot hole, it comes around, and the programmer did not program where the tool goes out and then retracts. So the tool come around on the side of the route and then retracted, and it always leaves a mark. There's that one, and there's that one. So it retracted there and retracted here on both routes. So 15 years ago, this guitar I think was crafted in China. I'm not too sure. I think it was China. That's a CNC programming error. Does it affect anything? No, but I'm pointing it out because it does have two tool retraction errors right there. Okay, let's flip it over. And let's look at the electronics in this guitar. There is no push pulls, and that knob there pulls off. There are no set screws on it. So we're going to have there's a room in Discord where you can go to enter to win this guitar. So anything you guys want to do to it, because you guys are the ones that are going to be entering to win it. So if one of the moderators of the channel want to go to the Discord or talk amongst themselves how they want to do it, let's start a room where people can put suggestions in. I already know that we're going to put tuners on the guitar. I'm going to work on the neck. Anything else that they would want done to the guitar for the giveaway, and this is all based on what we find. We might find that the in here looks bad. Who knows? And that is very tight. So it does have micro pots. We do not have any shielding on the back cover. It does have the green cap on it. And trying to see what the value is. The older I get, the worse my eyesight is. I think it's a .033. That's what it looks like. Looking for a label on the pots. Looking for an H or an A. I do not see them. Now the ground wire coming from this yellow wire right here. Okay, if y'all can see the yellow wire. The ground wire goes around. It's a shielded cable. They did not tin that wire over to the pot, so the braiding is loose. So everyone knows I do like them to tin that when they separate the wire. Tint the wire all the way up to the jacket, and they did not do that. The grounding locations on the volume pot were not to temperature. I can actually see where the soldering iron was laying in it.
Steven said the volume control drops off too quick
Oh,
also.
okay. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know if someone's been in here and worked on it, but in the condition that it's in right now, that will definitely need to be reflowed. The tone pot looks like they got it quite hot because the solder has flowed out over pretty much half of the pot. So this might be a guitar that we want to put new Barnes pots in. Again, suggestions down below because this is the giveaway guitar. So tuners, pots, I'd have to measure the screw holes on the switch. This is a printed circuit switch, so maybe an update on the switch, and definitely put a pure tone jack in it. Everyone knows that I am a pure tone jack fan, so we'll definitely put one of those in it. Looking at the route in here, I can definitely see a clean pass. It almost looks like they did it deliberately, and it went down a 32nd of an inch all the way around to clean the sidewalls. So the bottom of the route is not perfectly flat. But there is no step downs. It is a flat pocket that they've milled. The black paint does go up and over the edge, so this could be a shielding paint because they've wrapped that up and around, and I see a marker line there. But what's funny, if it is, they didn't put anything on the back here, so it has that feel. But I don't see any step down marks, and that, like I said, that's because they come across and they did do a cleaning pass, and I could see it in the bottom route. So, in my opinion here, I would definitely put some pots in it. I think the pickups sound pretty good, but again, that's kind of up to you guys. If you guys don't like the way it sounds, then we'll cross that bridge. This cover does need a little bit of work. You can see like it should drop in there. So yeah, you got to push it. It does fit. It just need to take about a 64th of an inch off of it. Clean it up. Alright, now we're going to open up the other cavity here. I did notice when I was putting strings on it, the screws holding the claw seem like they've seen their better days. So I want to get a better look at those. So if somebody wants to get on Reverb or just do a general search on what the RX25 is actually selling for, we can get a value on this guitar. Oh, I knew I saw it somewhere. It says Made in China right there on the back of the neck. I knew I saw it somewhere on the guitar. Let's open this one up and see what's in here. And I do see something funny going on with one of the springs. Always find it interesting to look at guitars like this to see how they hold up over the years. Just like, you know, the Firefly guitars, the Leo James, the Grote. What was that one that we reviewed on the channel that was from the guy from eArt? How are those guitars going to age, you know, in 15 years? Are all the electronics going to be messed up? Are there going to be cracks in the body? How's the neck's going to feel? Okay, looking here, we have 4 springs. So this is the culprit right here. Look at that spring. So there's definitely something going on with that spring.
Devastator said 250 to 500.
250 to 500. This one's in really good shape, guys. It's just got, the big thing, it's got a ding right here, and it's got 3 little dings on the top. Other than that, whoever gets this guitar, believe me, I'll make the neck beautiful for you. This neck's going to clean up like you wouldn't believe. We'll take some of this shoulder out right here too. Everyone knows that I'm not a big fan of that does nothing. Bring this up closer to the body and thin this out. Give me that extra ½ inch of clearance. So we're gonna work on that a little bit too. Maybe not take the whole ½ inch out, maybe bring it in about a ¼ inch closer. So looking at this spring here has got some damage. So I don't know if it got hung up on something at one time. It does have 4 springs on it. And the routing in here is typical for this time period. There's a misstep right here where it's about up 1/8 of an inch in the back. I'm not even sure why this route goes back this far, because the block is way over here and the bottom route is here, and then it routes all the way back to here with a step down pocket. That's peculiar. I am going to say that these screws have been replaced at some point. They look suspect. They are bugle head screws. I mean, they could be stock. Not sure what that is. Oh. So right here in the route, right where the end of my tool is, that is the insert for the Floyd Rose bridge.
Steven said he never did anything to this one except polish it. First owner had it for 4 years.
Yep, that is an insert to the bridge right there. Would that ever cause a problem? No, because it's surrounded by meat and there's a good ½ inch of meat underneath of it. Then the route for the pickup, center pickup, is protruding through the bottom route as well. Looking at our connection here, that should probably be cleaned up. It's looking a little crusty. But for its age, it looks like it was to temperature. It's just very dull, and there's some corrosion going on right here. If you use flux, guys, that's why I use a flux pen. The flux pen, the flux that they're using in that, once it gets to temperature, it burns off, supposedly. If you use just regular flux and it stays on here, in 10 or 15 years, you'll actually start to see corrosion from where the flux was on the metal. And that's what this one has done over the years. That acidic cut the finish off this claw, and it does have some corrosion underneath of it. Is it a bad contact? Most likely not, because it's bonded with solder, so it's not corroded under the solder, but it is corroded around the solder. So these are things that I can clean up. It's 15 years old. So that's what we see there. So I'm going to say what I see. It needs springs on the tremolo. Now it's got 4 springs. We could just use 3 springs. Most tremolos only use 3 springs. and then that pulls the claw up in the cavity this way. Or I can just get 3 shorter springs at a different rate and just use 3. But we do have 3 springs there, so I will check and see if we have enough playroom in the claw to move the claw forward and just use 3 springs instead of 4. And of course that does change the feel of the tremolo. 3 strings stretched or 3 short springs will feel different than 4 long springs, just due to the ratio.
They can barely hear me.
Yeah, your microphone I do not think is on, hon. Hold on. We are 100% professional here, guys. Let me get Linnell's microphone. Now holler, honey.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, they can hear you now. Sorry guys, I really need, over the Christmas break, I planned on rearranging and getting things set up better for the streams, but ended up I was sick the whole time and I did not get time to move the stuff around. Okay, that's our electronics. So now let's move on and see what the neck is doing. So we got a 25-inch scale, 25.5 scale length. No, it is not a 25. Let's try 24.5. It is not. All right. We're learning something today. Oh, you know what? I grabbed the wrong. That was my 24 and 25-inch scale. I'm getting blind, guys. All right, here's 25.5. Yep. I was going to say, when I was playing it, it felt like a 25.5. So looking down it, there's no relief in the neck. But right here, there's a kink. Is it not much? But when I look down the neck, there's a slight kink right here. So what, it depends. Is it affecting the playing? It's not affecting the playing. It might be a 64th of an inch, if that. But from right here to right here, there is, the neck is doing this. And it's perfectly straight, and there's just a fraction right here. I do not have a straight edge that does not have notches. So what I'll need to do is I'll need to put an actual straight edge on the frets and take a feeler gauge and make sure there's a gap here. This could have been like this from the factory, and they leveled the frets with the neck like that. So keep that in mind, guys. When you're looking at your guitar neck, that doesn't necessarily mean when your neck is straight, your frets are straight. If I level the frets and the neck already has a little bit of a crown to it, that means the center frets are going to be just a fraction taller than the frets down here. So you have to look at it when you put a straight edge from here to here, what are the frets doing? So if I put a straight edge on this guitar and I can't get my smallest feeler gauge underneath this, I'm not going to mess with straightening this. That means at the factory it was like that and they've done it. Now if I put my straight edge in here and I can put a feeler gauge in here, okay, that's going to tell me, yes, there is just a little. I'm talking about a piece of paper, thinner than a piece of paper feeler gauge. It's really, it's not much. And I know it's not going to show on the camera, but I want to give you all the opportunity to maybe check that out. And it's right where my thumb is. That's where it starts to the body. And that's usually where it happens, believe it or not, because this is the weak spot. This is going to be the fulcrum of where the neck wants to move, because this is bolted to the body and the truss rod's back here. Most of your truss rod pull is right in here. about right in here. That's where you get most, between here and here, that's where you get most of your pull. So this is where it's locked in, and this can't move because it's attached to the body of the guitar. So even though you're moving that truss rod and it's got pressure here, it's working against those bolts. Just putting it out there. Okay, are we missing anything? Oh, I guess we need to check the pickups. Let's see what these stock pickups are doing. That'll give you guys an idea if we should do pickups or... Remember, the more work we do to it, the less likely I can have this done by the end of the month. So keep that in mind, guys. All right, volume all the way up, tones all the way up. We're in our first position. We're starting out at 20k ohm, so it's reading 8.63. Let's check our inductance and our henries. It's 3.55, so it is definitely below half. 20k ohm in our second position, which we really don't know what it's doing, is 3.61. Henries and inductance is at 1.28. That's a phenomenal number. That's why I like that position. Third position, 6.12. Henries and inductance, 1.89. These are fantastic numbers. Fourth position, 20k ohm, we have 2.72. Now I'm really curious what we're going to get on our inductance. 0.75. 20k ohm in the neck position, single coil, 4.86. Inductance and henries, 1.18. The two single coils are nice. Those are some good reading pickups. Again, readings don't mean anything if you don't like the sound of them. But I can tell you there's some copper on these pickups. The readings are telling me these are not budget pickups. They've got some copper on them. They wound these pickups. They're not highly charged magnets with a little bit of copper on them. That is a stupid number. 4.86 down to 1.18. That's stupid good. And our center, this single coil here in the center, 6.12, 20k ohm, down to 1.82. Now you guys say that I'm picky on budget guitars when I'm like, I don't care how old this guitar is or the problems it has, those two pickups are nicely wound. Again, that's what I like. They could sound like poop, I don't know. I know there's copper. These are the readings that you want to see on a nice pickup. That they haven't cheated and put high power magnets in it and cheapened out the wind. These are the numbers you're looking for. The bridge pickup, though, is not as good. Its 20k ohm is 8.63, and our inductance is reading 3.55. Yeah, now if this come back at 3, okay, or 3.1, 3.2, I would say okay. 3.55, it's not a cheap pickup, and it's not a massively wound pickup, if that makes sense. Still far better than what we see in a budget guitar. Hopefully that makes sense, guys. It's just a reference. It doesn't mean that they're going to sound good. Lord only knows, I watch YouTube channels and they say, wow, look at this 16K, 18K pickup. And I listen to it and it sounds like cats fighting in the alley. There has to be a balance, guys. You can get distortion a bunch of different ways. If you've got, the old PAF pickups were, 7, 8K. And people just run their preamplifiers stupid hot. They would boost their preamps or run another preamp into it. It gives you a different sound. If you're running an 18K pickup and your inductance is at, I don't know, 18K, it should be 7 or 8 if it's good. I'm guessing, yeah, probably 7 or 8. It's hitting your front of your amp hard. Okay? So now if you're using a boost, you've got even more. The drawback is when you roll that volume back, you got to roll it back even more. When you roll your volume back without a tone bleed, it affects the tone. So on an 18K or a 16K pickup, you roll that volume back to get a clean signal, you're cutting your high end, you're cutting the sparkle out of that pickup. So it really depends on what you're doing. If you're doing drop C and drop D, that's probably what you're looking for, because it's gonna, when you roll that tone back, it's gonna give it a real low end sound. So I am not casting stones at any of it. You just need to know what you're looking for. Okay, let's look at the neck radius. I got a 12-inch gauge here. Let's see if what we got. It looks really close. I am going to check it with a 10 and a 14. There's a 14. Let's check the 14. Sometimes I'll look at this and it really does help to, yeah, that's too flat. It's touching in the center and I see a gap on either side. Let's check our 10. Yeah, that's the exact opposite. Looks like it's a 12, guys. Let's check the top. Yep, 12-inch radius. Checking our bridge and our setup. Now the action could be a little lower. So what I tell people, the StewMac gauge is awesome. If you're a shredder and you like stupid low action, get the StewMac gauge, and when you put this gauge in here, see how I can move that up and down? Lower your saddles down to where this just touches the top of the gauge, and it is shredder action. But this gauge is usually a pretty good indicator of what our bridge is doing. So our low E, high E, and B ring out. Is it bad? Not really. I think it needs a shim under the low E saddle. I think if I put the shim under, one shim under the low E, that would shift that up enough to where the high E and the B would be really close. Alright guys, am I missing anything? I know we don't have neck measurements and we don't have weight. Let's check our bar here. Now something I did notice when I was playing it, there's very little slop in the bar, but it doesn't move freely. So if we get it to move freely, you can see how now we have introduced slop to the bar. As soon as I get the slop out, so if you want a bar that doesn't have that slop, this guitar is not going to give it to you. It's a Floyd Rose special. So what I tell people, there's what's called a turbo bar. And the turbo bar, do I have a turbo bar? Yes, I do have a turbo bar up here. I can show you the difference. If you look at how this bar is made, it just has one solid collar and there's a nylon washer piece. So as a guitar ages, this little piece of nylon wears. So what this nut does is it comes down on that piece of nylon and it engages in this, and that's what gives it a decent feel. But it's just riding on this one cylinder. A turbo bar has a capturing pin right here. So in the bottom of the barrel, there's a hole that this pin goes in, and then you have your standard sleeve, and then your cross pin. It's not the best bar that you can get, but it's one of the best bars for under $30 to improve your tremolo action. So this is one of the options that we could do on this guitar to give the tremolo a better feel, is to put a turbo bar on it. And you can ask Jupe about the turbo bar. We did put a turbo bar on Jupe's Schecter when it was here for service. It's back. So Jupe, I am getting to it. So the turbo bar really does add a lot of, if you want to reach down and just barely tap it and the bar move and it moves the bridge, turbo bar, vote for the turbo bar. What I'm seeing it needs tuners. Locking nut seems to work. I think it needs either new springs or reset the tremolo to work on 3 springs. And I'm going to say we should put a new tone and volume knob in it. The pickups seem to be okay. If I did anything to this guitar, I would definitely not change those 2 single coils. Maybe a hotter bridge pickup, something like that. If you did that and we work on the neck on this guitar, it would be stupid good. And you can get a good pickup for this. We could put a guitar head pickup in this thing. Probably be, probably $40 just for one, because they usually sell them in pairs. So $40 there, about $60 for tuners. Electronics is cheap, probably another $15 for electronics. And then a lot of time to fix the neck. That's what I'm seeing. All right, let's get a weight on it. Where's our scale? There it is. People are probably coming into the stream and, why is this cat reviewing a 15-year-old guitar? Well, this is this month's guitar giveaway. If you're new to the channel, we give away a guitar every 2 months. We try to give away quality instruments, okay? If we review a guitar and it has a problem, we fix it and we make sure the guitar is right. So when you receive the guitar, it will be in top shape. This guitar was donated just to help support the channel. So we have 8 pounds, 1 ounce. Going to grams, that's 3,658 grams. So it's not a tank by any means. 8 pounds with a tremolo, 3 pickups, 24 fret. I'd say that's pretty good. The guitar doesn't feel heavy. When I pick it up, I don't think I'm picking up a Les Paul. Feels nice. Look at me hitting my microphone. Okay, guys, I think it's almost break time. If I've missed anything, or if someone has a question, like I said, this is this month's guitar giveaway. Because you all post any questions you have during the break, because this is the time to ask, especially if you've entered to win this guitar. Okay, please ask your question. Okay, and you guys are the entry people. You guys are the ones that are giving the super chats to support the channel. You guys are the ones that are donating the stuff to do it. So I gotta cater to you guys. If it wasn't for you all, I wouldn't be here. I mean, I never would have thought the live streams and what we do here would have really come to what it is. I have changed and I have grown. I think I've grown as an artist. I think I've grown as a reviewer. And I've gotten better, believe it or not, at working on guitars because now it's not that, how do you say it? You're more scrutinized here. And believe me, guitar players are very finicky. And when you work on another guitar player's guitar, their guitar players are picky. So listening to people's comments when I do things, I don't care if it's a comment saying, hey man, you really need to do this, or have you ever thought about doing this? I pay attention and I learn a lot from the comments in the videos as well. Things that I, may not have actually thought of.
C.D.
So-
Nelson just gave a super chat.
Ooh, thank you. That's what supports the channel, guys, that right there. And just so everyone knows, the Gretsch is gone, but the Gretsch will be returning. So if you did like the Gretsch, there will be a Gretsch in the future. Believe me. We worked out a deal with our local music store today, so we will be doing a Gretsch. So stay tuned for maybe a guitar giveaway. Maybe it's another Gretsch to review. I don't know. But we did work out a deal with Shenandoah. If you don't know already, I always say support your local music store. When they're gone, you're going to miss them. And Shenandoah Music has really graciously done a lot for us. Okay, they allow us to bring guitars home to review, so you guys get a better idea if you're going to like the guitar or not. So reach out, give them some love, especially if you're in Virginia or the Shenandoah Valley. They support the channel just like you, the viewer, does. So any questions on this guitar, please put up during the break. And when we come back, we'll get some sounds on this little guy. And I want to get in and say thank you to Stephen. I know I always say Stefan. I am the worst at the English language. Everyone has certain skills. If you look at people that are good at math and stuff like that, they're usually not too good at spelling and English. That's exactly how I always struggled at those type things, but excelled in math and CAD, drafting, science, stuff like that. But English and foreign languages, no, couldn't do it. So it's surprising if you look back at the people that you went to school with or people you know. Look at how their mind works and what they do for a living. It's surprising as we grow and mature how our mind leads us to do certain things. Hand-eye coordination, we all have it. We're guitar players. You have to have that hand and eye coordination. You've got it. You're a guitar player. You're also extremely creative. I don't know any musicians that aren't creative. You're creative. You're a musician. You're creating music. That's being creative. Usually, most musicians are also out-of-the-box thinkers. That means they think things through. They analyze things. They're critical thinkers. So that's what really draws me to the YouTube and YouTube channel, because I know the people watching these videos are just like me. Okay, we might not have the same view and the same opinion, but we can talk about it, and that's what it's about. All right, guys, let's take our 5-minute break, and when we come back, I'll answer any questions that we have on the guitar for this month's giveaway.
requested, what's the fretboard radius and how thick is the neck?
Fretboard radius is 12 inches in the neck. This is a locking bridge, guys. So to do that, I have to unlock it. We can do that. I'm just, the tuning keys on the guitar are not that good. So I am concerned with them. So let's unlock the neck. We can do that. Alright, we have our locking nut unlocked. Let's take some pressure off the strings. The neck on the guitar does not feel Ibanez Wizard thin. See right there? Yeah, that tuning key there is in bad shape. It feels like sand in it. And again, I'm going to say a lot of that is from when these things were under tension, okay? And now you bring this down, the tension between here and here is going to be different from here and here. So that pulled on these posts over the years of tuning this guitar and then trying to lock it. I would say that's what's caused these tuners to fail, because it was bad. It would bring it up almost a whole half step by locking this nut when it was in tune. It was quite bad. So if you have a guitar with a locking nut, loosen your locking nut, tune your low E, leave your guitar in a tuner, and tighten the locking nut and see if it stays in tune. Now, if you do not have a strobe tuner, you really need a strobe tuner, especially if you're checking intonation. If you've got one of these little tiny tuners that has the little lights going back and forth, you cannot check intonation with those things, because you can be off 3 or 4 cent and it's going to say you're spot on. So if you're going to work on guitars, okay, and everyone here is guitar players, if doing intonation work's quite easy. Spend a little money and buy yourself a nice Robertson strobe tuner. These have come way down in price. Now I know you guys are like $180 for a tuner. You're a guitar player. You got guitars. If you don't take your guitar to a tech, okay, it's something that you need to do. Setting your intonation is really makes the guitar sound right. When you play your chords, when you go down the neck, if you're playing leads, you're going to set your intonation up different, okay? If I'm working on a guitar player and he tells me I'm a lead player and I'm playing in this area mostly, I'm not going to concentrate on the open notes. I'm going to try to get that thing to intonate and play properly right through here, because he's playing with a rhythm guitar player. If his guitar is intonated and it's set up to where his open chords and his chording's right, the two are going to sound better. You can't, these are conventional fret guitars. See the straight frets? That means none of these notes are right. I hate to break it to you, but your guitar is wrong. I don't care if you got a $7,000 Shure, if it has straight frets, it's wrong. These aren't true temperament frets. Okay? So every note's going to be off a little bit, no matter what you do, unless you set the 12th and you're open. Every other note's going to be off. It's going to be. So having a good tuner to set up your guitar and get it to where it acts right, there's a reason why Eddie Van Halen always tuned his lower strings a little funny, his B and his E, because he wanted that sound. Because the B string is bad for not being intonated properly to the other strings. It's a half step out. It's the way the guitar is made. So he was famous for tuning his B string, and you listen to the way I tune. When I tune to my ear, I tune the way he did on the B string.
Is that a Peterson tuner?
Yes, that is a Peterson.
You said Robertson.
Oh, I'm all, there's comments in my reviews about it. I thought that was a Peterson, and that's why if you go back, if you watch one of my videos, I actually go my Peterson like that because I was so bad for saying Robertson. But yeah, get yourself a nice Peterson strobe tuner and start setting your intonation. If you're not using a Peterson, I am going to look at your review or whatever you're doing with a grain of salt if you tell me the guitar is intonated properly, because you don't know. You don't have the tool to check it, if that makes sense. That's why if someone comes up and says, well, I've got X amount of relief and they're doing this, and they don't have a gauge to put on the neck, I take that with a grain of salt too, because the two will give you two completely different readings. If I push on the string here and push on the string here, and I even take a feeler gauge and I put it underneath of it, I know that measurement is going to be higher than it actually is, because when you push down right here, it creates an arc in the string, and that arc coming off deflects the metal. So that deflection ratio is the amount of distance you're going to be off. If
How
that makes
much
sense.
lower do you tune the B string?
It's not much. It's a couple cent. What you can do, tune your guitar normally, and hit a D. Okay, that's the one I use, D. These two strings, move your B string to where the flutter disappears. Okay, to where it's in tune. You're going to tune the B to the D chord. Okay, that's what you're going to tune the D to. Once the B is tuned, then come up and tune your high E to the B that's been altered. And now when you play that D, it's going to have punch like Eddie Van Halen. That's why his D's, and when he goes to dun 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 dun, it gives it a sound. Okay, but if you plug it into a tuner, it's not actually tuned. It's actually going to read out. That's why when I set intonation, people go, oh, well, you're setting it flat. If I'm going to be off, I want to be off on the flat side. Flat is a little more pleasing to the ear. We're talking about the majority of people. If you're one of those people and you like it sharp, that's cool. But when I do it, I'm doing for the masses, and I usually want it to be a little bit on the flat side. Okay? It's just flat notes are more pleasing to the ear. That's why everyone likes the blues. All right, well, I'm sitting here yakking. Let's look at our top. And this is going to be modified. So we have 43.91. So that sounds about right, because I'm pretty sure, is it an R3 nut? It's either an R3 or an R7. I can't remember which one. I think it's like 43.5. And that's about what, there's one that's 43.5. So that's probably what this neck was gauged to. But we have an error right here anyway, so I can sand this out. But it's saying 43.91. So let's look at our 12th. We got 53.65. And our 24th is 57.98. Neck thickness at our first fret. Wow, that thing is really sharp on the end. I think that's the second time I've poked myself. So we have 20.43. Yeah, it's not Ibanez thin, but it's a nice feeling nut. At the 12th, we have 22.02. Nice bit of taper, and our neck starts getting thick right at the 15th, and there's a big change at the 16th fret. So between the 15th and 16th fret. So those are our neck specs. Now let's try to get this thing back up to tune. The E tuner is not hard. The A is awful.
CD said thanks.
Yep. Yeah, the A tuning key is awful. It needs tuners bad, guys. You know what these tuners feel like? A stock Leo James. Just saying. If you go back, I don't remember which one it was. I think it was the Tempest that I said that I felt like the tuning keys was going to break as I was tuning it. That's why I didn't really want to take the pressure off these. These two here, really bad. Wow. Steven, were they that bad when you had it? Did you have to crank on them like that? Mm. Yeah, that. Yeah, that's not good at all. Definitely needs tuners, guys. We'll put some hip shot or some Godos on this thing. If you're gonna do it, let's do it right. Now I know the comments, well, you're gonna do it, put some ratios on it. $140 tuners.
Steven said yes from the get-go.
Really? Wow. Yeah, the D is. I can barely turn it.
Devastator said good forearm workout.
You got that good finger workout. The A is. Wow, that's how much slop right there is tuning it. Not doing anything, not doing anything, not doing, right there. There's a 1/4 inch. That's a first. That even tops the Leo James tuners. It's not doing anything between there and there. That's all slop. I might just have to keep these as a memoir.
Steven said that's why I only changed strings when I really wanted to play it.
Wow. We're gonna fix it.
Jupe said, oh Avery, you just need to get in the gym.
I know, Mister. I pick up 600 pounds with one arm. Guys, you guys got to see pictures of Jupe. He's a workout monster.
Steven said, "Don't send them back."
I'm sending this guitar back for a refund. I wonder if Amazon will exchange it. What's the issue, sir? I can't tune the D string. It's not happy. It's not happy. Let's see how much of a change we get. Like I said, I just slapped that one on. That's pretty close. A fell. B fell. E is on. So that's what it should do, guys. Like I said, it's not going to be perfect, okay? But 4 out of the 6 were perfect. You can fine tune out the other 2 strings. Raising and lowering the string tree like this. Let's say when I tightened it, the high E went sharp. So that means I've got to lower the high E side of the string tree. Okay? And you're going to keep doing this until you get them both balanced. When you move this down, it does affect this side just a little bit. So you got to kind of play with it. And just a little turn does make a big difference. But that's how you set your string tree on these guitars. It is not just there for appearance. It's there so when you lock the locker, your tuning stays consistent. Okay, I got it plugged into our little modeling amp here. The bridge pickup sounds kind of mean on it, even though I would say, I think this is the first guitar I've ever reviewed where I'd say the bridge pickup is the weak pickup as far as our test results. I can't get over the testing on these 2 single coils. Alright, let's go to clean because everybody wants to know what it sounds like clean. Alright, first thing we always do, guys, we're going to check the volume and the tone. I know we're replacing them. I will replace them. We're going to look at the guitar as it is right now. Okay, the last third of the knob does nothing. So most of the volume is between max and 1/2. So let's check the tone. In the tone knob, most of the tone is from 75% to 100. From 0 to 50, I don't think it does anything. That's 25% right there. 0. Yeah, both pots are not linear, so you don't even need to vote on that, guys. We are changing the volume and the tone pot on this guitar, and we're going to put a better capacitor in it. So with that being said, since the tone is so picky, wow, I'm just barely trying to turn it to get. Yeah, the tone's pretty much unusable.
Steven mentioned that earlier.
I'm trying to find that spot in the tone where you're trying to take the attack out of the strings.
Steven said put a cool tap on it too.
Well, I didn't check to see if this humbucker had the 2 wires inside that were tied together. If it does, we could possibly do that. This might be one of the guitars that we just want to do one pickup in. We'll have to total up the parts and see how much money we're going to spend on tuners, springs, and the electronics. I'm pretty sure we'll have a budget to do all that. I want to put a tremolo bar on it too, because this bar is pretty floppy. But I'm sure there'll be a budget there to put a better pickup here. I'm thinking the not a hex bucker, but a Z bucker that we put in the White Firefly. That's like a well, I think it reads about 8.5K, like this one. That would be a good choice. It'd probably be about a $40 pickup. I do have some Result pickups. I think that's about a 10K pickup. So I'll have to test that one. If that one's at 10K and at like, I don't know, probably 4, something like that. 4 or 5, I don't know. We'll have to check. That'll be up to you guys. You can leave a comment either in this video or in Discord. So I'm trying to find that sweet spot just to take the attack off. Let's go up to our second position. I'm going to turn the tone all the way up. I don't know how it's translating to YouTube, but that's got a nice sound, that second position. Let's try our third position. That's got a nice sound. I like these. I really like the single coils. Now this is our fourth position, both the single coils. Fourth position sounds good. Our fifth position. Just starting to get that ditty. You know, you get rusty, you get old. Fourth position sounds good. The two single coils in this guitar really are, they're nice sounding pickups. Let's go up to crunch. Let's go back down to our bridge position, volume and tones all the way up. Nice. Second position. Play through it. Sometimes you just don't have a cadence. When you lose the cadence, it's really hard to get it back. like the third position. Again, struggling with the cadence. I got out of whack. Fourth position. Got a nice fourth position. All right, fifth position. Everybody has off nights. That's why we do live reviews. Okay, let's go to our lead channel. We are in the bridge position. Now, what I'm noticing, I use this amp a lot. On the lead channel in the bridge position, it doesn't have much push. So with this pickup, you would have definitely had to use a boost pedal to saturate the front side of your amp to get a lot of gain. And that's kind of what we saw on the readings. I think it was like 8.5K. So let's go up to our high gain. I think these microphones are picking up the strings too. Hold on, let's try that again. I'm going to turn off the overheads. The tremolo does work well.
Got a super chat from Trucker Bob.
Ooh, thank you, Trucker Bob.
And Steve says, Avery, how would you compare this pickup and your Quantum?
I like the Quantum much better. The bridge pickup in this one, it's not for me. I think it sounds okay on clean, and I think it breaks up okay. It seems to be very mid-focused, if that makes sense. It seems to lack punch, even though it's mid-focused. Like, that's the bridge there. Hear it? I don't know. Everyone's different. For me, that's even though it does read okay, it's not a pickup that I necessarily like. I think the Quantum has a little bit more bite to it. I really got to dig in to make it scream. A lot of that might be the pick I'm using. Let me try a different pick. No, it's still, you can still hear it has like a clean quality to it. I mean, for certain kinds of music, that's what you want. But for my playing, doing hair stuff, it seems to be a little lacking. If you cut the gain back and you're doing like a crunch to a higher gain, I think it could work really well. And you can hear it gets a little muddy. I mean, I'm being really picky. I mean, it's fine. I mean, you got to look at the price point on the guitar. If I had to pick, and both of these guitars were $500, let's say the Ibanez with the Quantums, I'd say the Quantum's just a little bit more attacky pickup. But if you're playing more, let's say like an AC/DC type stuff, this pickup would probably be better. Where the Quantum is going to be more smacky sounding, if that makes sense. And that's not the AC/DC sound. I think this pickup would do well for that. A lot of times, guys, that's why we have a couple of different guitars. I'm bad for this too. I gravitate towards the exact same guitar. Well, I don't like AC/DC, but if I was going to play AC/DC, I'd play it on this guitar over my RGA there. Because it's going to sound more like that, if that makes sense. You know, have a variety of different guitars that have different sounds. You know, there's not one pickup that's going to do everything. But I think the the bridge pickup in this guitar is the weak link. It's just not. I don't know, it like lacks definition, I guess. And you guys might be saying, you know, I'm wrong. And that's why there's so many different pickups out there. But for me, it seems like it lacks definition and it's a little muddy. Let's go up to our special channel. And your amp settings have everything to do with it. That's why I'm kind of going through a bunch of different amp settings. Certain pickups do better with different settings. So this is our special channel. It breaks up well.
Devastator said put a little reverb on it. Mad Hatter said it's a wee bit muddy.
It is. I hear it sounds a little muddy. It's like definition. It's like a little washy. But I think the other pickups are fine. But there's a lot of pickups that fall apart on really, really high gain. If we come down here, I think the pickup sounds great. It's a saturation gain, but it's not high gain. So we can go. It's got punch. So I think this pickup was just voiced more for a lighter gain type setting. You can hear that. I don't want to play too much of it. But you can hear it, don't it? You can hear it just does that better. So it's more about the style of music that you're playing. I think we can make this guitar an awesome guitar. You know, you want to make it a working man's guitar? Because that's what the HSS is. The HSS is supposed to be a guitar that does a little bit of everything. I think we just change this pickup, put something on it that's a little bit more articulate, that'll still give us our really cool, clean sounds. Because it really does have some cool, clean sounds. I think it's got that. It does that really well, especially if you just put a little crunch in it. You can hear it. it's not bad. We got to think of the price point of the guitar back then, and it's 15 years old. And we know that there's some issues going on with the pots. So I'm going to say tuning keys, electronics, new whammy bar, and if you guys want, we can put a new bridge pickup on it.
Steven said, steal one of Linnell's. She has plenty of guitars now.
She does. She's creeping up on my territory, guys.
I've got, what, 7, I think?
See? I know. I'm trying to think. I have guitars, guys, that I don't play. And I need to. You guys can see I have my Vandenberg out now. You know, I love my Vandenberg. I like the way it plays. I've been playing my Schecter lately. I was playing nothing but the RGAs for a long time. And there's nothing against that RGA. I just ordered, we're modifying that guitar coming up. We're going to put a better bridge, a high mass bridge in it. I ordered some guitar head hexbuckers for it. So I've already got the pickups. My high mass bridge should be here probably in 3 days. So the only other thing I need is some really nice tuning keys. So once I get the tuning keys, I want to put locking tuning keys on it because it doesn't have a lock nut. It's a hardtail guitar. So once I get all the parts, that's going to be a guitar that I want to do a series on. It's an inexpensive guitar. It's a $450 guitar. Does it need pickups? No. It's got the Quantums in it. I like the Quantums. I just want something different. Again, we have a couple guitars here with Quantums in it. I just like the way the guitar feels and plays. So I want to try something different pickup-wise. I like the feel. I like where the harmonic spot is on the guitar. Let's try some different pickups. If I don't like the pickups, I'll put the Quantums back in it. You know, and Devastator already says the Quantums will go back in it. So I guess there's a pool on whether or not the guitar head pickup stay in the guitar or I put the Quantums back in it. So you can go to Discord and vote on that. But either way, are the tuning keys on the guitar bad? No, they're not. Is the bridge on the guitar bad? No. It's a great guitar for $450. I just want something like that. You know, sometimes we just want to do what we want to do. I want to put a high mass bridge on it, see how better it sustains. Does it fall out of tune right now? Absolutely not. Well, why are you putting locking tuners on it? Fast string changes. And I want to put different pickups in it because I have one guitar with those on it. Linnell has 3 guitars with the Quantums in it. So if I want to play a guitar with Quantums, I can play one of her guitars. She'll let me. Sometimes. So on this guitar, you know, it's all in what you guys want to do with it. I think it's a good guitar. It's a good starting place. This is definitely one of the guitars that we can go through, and we can really make this a nice guitar. You know, if you go back, I don't know how many people watched the gym videos. There was a lot of work done to the gym. And what was the gentleman's name well, I don't know if he picked the gym. I know Brian said that he gave him the option.
Ed from Puppy Badass.
Yeah, Puppy Butt won the guitar. So
yeah, he got the gym. When Searching for Tone came in, he said he came in late because he was mourning the loss of an Ibanez gym.
Oh. Well, Puppy, reach out to me. If you have any questions on the guitar, reach out to me. I'd be more than glad. You can watch the videos on everything that was done. It's a player. If you get the guitar, which I know you will, the only thing the guitar, from what I read in posts on doing the review and stuff, people say the bridge after a year or two, the knife edges are soft, and it will eventually not return to zero. Right now, the guitar works flawlessly. Just start saving some money and get yourself a 1996 bridge for it. Stick that in the guitar and rock it. It's got the Quantums in it. I think the Quantums work well. But, I mean, you just got it for free. So you could put some DiMarzio pickups in that and put a Godo bridge in that, and you'd have less than $350 on it if you did the work yourself. And believe me, that guitar with those two things changed would be as good as the $2,000 Gem, or as good as the $3,000 Pia. The neck on the guitar really is. It's done well. We can do the exact same thing to this neck, guys. We can sand this neck down, take the age off of it, bring it right back up to snuff, clean up the frets, but the frets are in really good shape in this guitar. I didn't check the fret level on it. I don't know if you guys are interested in it. Either way, I'm going to check the fret level on the guitar. Anything I find, I will tell you this. If I find more than 5 high frets, I'm not touching it up. We're going to level them all. That's just how I do it. The frets don't look like they've ever been leveled. If they were, whoever did it knew what they were doing, and they polished them up really nice, because the crowning on the frets look really good. So, in dressing, if it needs it, but everyone knows I take pride in what I do. It is a guitar giveaway, and this guitar was donated, so that gives us a little bit of room to buy some parts for it, because we're not buying the guitar, so we can buy parts. So please go to Discord and leave some comments on what you think we should do to the guitar. You guys have heard it. Do you think we should put all pickups in it? I think these two are good, but you guys might disagree with that. You guys might say, whatever. It's you all that are going in to win the guitar. So I will fix it, but you guys tell me what you would want pickup wise, or the bridge. I think it needs a bar because there's a lot of slop in it. Definitely some electronics. That's a tremendous amount of work, and it's already almost the 11th. So we're going to do the drawing the last Saturday in January, no matter what.
Last Saturday is the 31st.
The 31st. That'll be when we do the guitar giveaway, guys. So you need to go to Discord, go to the guitar giveaway room. Please put your name in that room and say, yes, I want to be entered to win the Washburn. And you're not getting this guitar in its present form. I'm going to fix it. So you can also go to Discord and say, I'd like to enter. And I don't know if they're going to set up a different room, but please go in there. The Discord's very active. But go in there and say what you think needs to be done to the guitar. And I'm going to tally up what everyone says should be done to the guitar. And that's what we'll try to do to the guitar. Okay? I want the guitar to be right. You guys are the ones that are entering it. So it should be you guys making the decisions. Okay? So let you guys make the decisions on what we do. And be detailed, guys. Say, I think you need to sand the back of the neck, straighten the back of the neck out. I think you need to do a fret dressing on it, or change tuning keys, or whatever it is that you feel this guitar should have done to it for its new owner that's coming up. And that's what we'll get done. Just keep in mind the drawing is then. I know Time Surfing Alien, it was a month after he won the guitar before he actually got it. By the time I did the gym and everything else, and in Christmas. So if the person is willing to wait that little bit of extra time for me to do the work, that would be great. So we are limited on time, guys. So don't have me completely dismantle a guitar and reassemble it in 2 weeks and try to get it to you by the second week in February. All right, if you haven't already, please go down and hit the like button. And if you didn't have to be subscribed to chat, I want you to come in and chat. I do want your subscription. I really do. I want the channel to grow. And I want everyone here to spread the word about the channel. We don't always have to agree on things, guys. That's what the channel's about. Everyone here plays a different instrument. And that's why I'm asking you guys to go and say what you'd want to do. What I want to do to the guitar is irrelevant. It's not relevant. I'm not the one going to be owning the guitar. It's you guys. So you guys need to say, I think you should do this.
Trucker Bob says, can you make the neck thinner?
Yeah, you could make the neck thinner. We could take it down. There's always 2 millimeters. You know, there's always 2 millimeters that you can take down. So we could take this down to like probably take it down to like 19.5 to maybe 21, something like that. Take 1.5 millimeters off up here and about 1 millimeter up here. When we could take it down more, but I'm unfamiliar with Washburn, if that makes sense. I've never had one of these apart or cut or broke to look at, see how Washburn does their necks. So I don't want to shave it down to like 18, if that makes sense. But we could definitely take it down to like 19, something like that, 19.5. And that's up to you guys. If everyone says, yes, Avery, thin the neck down, then we'll thin the neck down. But if I thin the neck down, it'll be like Brian's guitar. It will take at least a month and a half because the neck has to reacclimate. You're sanding all the finish off of it. I'm going to have to put some moisture in this neck to straighten this section right here out. I'm also going to have to sand right here to get this sanding error out. So please keep that in mind, guys. Where I'm just being honest. I don't want to blow smoke up anybody's butt. I don't do YouTube for a living. That's why we don't post a lot. We posted a lot of videos the last couple of weeks because I was off for 2 weeks. So I got about 3 videos out in 2 weeks. So normally we only do 1 video a week. When I'm working on guitars and the basement's full, sometimes I can't get that. It's about a video every 2 weeks. And then, of course, we do our lives. So keep that in mind. Be nice to me. But if you guys are willing to wait a little bit of extra time,
Mikey
we'll
said,
get this right.
Is the neck going to warp again?
It could. I'm not going to lie to you. The longer it's here's a qualifying statement. The longer it's here, the less likely chance that'll happen. Because if I sand the neck right now and put this in a fixture, and I pull it out of the fixture in 2 weeks, and I'm working on a guitar and I see it start to do something, then I'll know that it needs to sit in the fixture longer. I have a Love Breed acoustic. Now, this neck really isn't that bad, guys. My Love Breed was twisted this way, okay? And it had a bad crown in the neck right here where the fingerboard went onto the body. It took over a year to straighten that neck out, to get the twist out. This neck is not twisted. It doesn't appear to be twisted. I'll have to put my gauges on it to see. But what I'm seeing is right here. Okay, from here to here, the neck is perfectly straight. And there's, I guess you can consider it a kink right here. It's not much, but it is there. And for a guitar to be spot on, it can't do that. It can't. You can't have that. And you'll see this on like newer guitars that are made at a lower price point. You'll see this. Okay. Does it affect it that much? If you slam the action, yeah, it'll start choking stuff out down here. If you slam the action. But the action height where it's at right now, let's see where it's at right now. It's not really bugging it. So Imperial, we were at 0.0675, almost 0.07. So it's not high, but it's not crazy low. This is about where I like my action, right here. Actually, I probably just a little lower on the high E, but the higher notes, that's perfect. That's where I want my high notes. Let's see, I didn't check the bottom. Where's the bottom at? So our high E is set to 0.055. So it's quite low on the high E. I might actually even raise that a little bit. So with that issue in the neck, it's still not causing a problem. I'm just being super picky. You guys know I am. You guys like me to be picky, but when I pick you on a guitar, some people get all upset about it. Don't be upset. You know, I'm here to tell you what I see. I have no skin in any game. But this is what I'm seeing. Would it ever cause a problem? For 95% of the people, it wouldn't. But while I have the guitar apart, I'm going to try to correct it. That's, if you talk to Brian, he's seen one of my guitars, talk to Juke, talk to Devastator, talk to people that have received one of my guitars. Are they perfect? There's no such thing as perfect. It's not going to happen, guys. There's always something. But I try to do the best I possibly can.
Steven
Okay?
says, this was always kept in a gig bag. The neck, the first owner told me that part of the neck came like that from the factory.
Yeah, there is a spot in it. But we're going to try to resolve it, you know? I guarantee you, whoever gets the guitar, it's going to be a playing machine. I guarantee it. I will set the guitar up and make it a player. Would that ever cause a problem? With the right setup, no, it would not. Sometimes, guys, it's the setup. I can take a $3,000 Jackson and screw the setup on it, and it'll play like poop. It just will. A good setup really makes a big difference on a guitar. Even if you've got high and low frets, a good setup and someone that takes the time and sets the guitar up around the guitar's problems, okay, it can still play good. You can pick it up and go, this thing's amazing. The frets are level, it doesn't buzz. That doesn't mean the frets are level. That means it doesn't buzz. Someone set the thing up. Maybe they set it up around the problems. I do that. Some people bring a guitar in, they don't want to do a fret level. Get it the best you can get it. So you work around the problems. I have X amount of dollars. Make my guitar play as good as you can. Sometimes you're forced into that scenario. I can't fix every fret. I can't fix every twist in the neck. Most people couldn't afford for someone to put this neck in a fixture and try to get this out, because they're going to charge you probably $200 just for the fixture time. And when you do that, you've put a bow in the neck. You've bent the neck one way or the other. As I said earlier, if these frets were leveled and this was like this at the factory, that means the frets now, when you straighten the neck, will be really out of whack because they were leveled with an incorrect neck. So now it adds more time. So I just got to look at the guitar. Everyone knows I will do the best possible job that I can possibly do on this guitar. Whoever gets it, it's going to be nice. It's a nice guitar right now. This guitar, the way it is, if I was playing in a bar, okay, I would put a new tone, new volume, change the cap, put a better pickup in it, change the bar, tuning keys. I would lightly sand the neck. And that's it. I wouldn't touch the frets. I don't know if they're level or not. I wouldn't touch the frets. It's played in. I can feel the edge of the fingerboards played in from years of playing. I could play this guitar all night. But I'd want tuning keys. I got to be able to tune it. I like a bar. When I touch it, it moves the tremolo. I don't get the slop. And I could not stand that tone knob like that. So electronics, bar, pickup, tuning keys. I would not try to fix this neck right here at all. If this was my bar guitar, I would lightly sand the back of this neck, put 2 coats of tried and true on it, and this would be my bar guitar. And I would play it, and I could make it sound good, and it would do its job. It's an HSS. That being said, everyone knows that I try to go a little overboard. I want the person that wins the guitar to go, I got this for Music and Gear, and Avery worked on it, and this thing plays fantastic. You know, if you guys vote on whatever, we all voted on it, and this is what I got. Check this thing out. That's what I want. I want the person to be happy with it. That's why it's a giveaway. I want you guys to come, look at the reviews, look at my tutorial videos and my how-to videos, and then be one of the people that contribute and win a guitar and go, okay, now I get it. I think Brian now, when he's looked at the frets, hopefully he looked at those frets and went, huh, wow, that's pretty cool. and took his little finger and looked at it in the light and, wow, now I get it. Because that's the fret job that you would see on a $2,700 Jackson, a $4,000 or $5,000 Shure. That's what I expect. The fret that I did on that Jim, you should see that on those guitars because there's a lot of hand time in it. That's what you're paying $4,000 for that guitar. You're paying for that tech to spend 40 hours on the frets, working on the back of the neck, getting everything as good as he can get that guitar in the amount of time that he has. It's sure, it might be 30 hours of hand time. Maybe it's 60 hours. Whatever that time is, that tech wants to get that guitar as good as he can get it in that allotted time that the company says that he has to work on it. That's his job. That's why you're paying that money for that guitar. It's up to you whether or not you want to spend $5,000 or $6,000 on a Taylor or a Tyler. Either one, Taylor $5,000, a Tyler maybe $7,000, or $5,000 for a Shure. These are nice guitars. Or a Kiesel. Kiesel makes a heck of a guitar, but you're going to pay for it because it's a nice guitar. So, okay guys, I'm going to end the stream. I've rambled off enough, but this is this month's giveaway. Please go and enter to win. The more people that enter, it lets me know that you guys are getting into it. And I can't comment enough. Thank everyone that watched the Ibanez stuff and left comments. It makes me feel good. And hopefully a year from now, 2 years from now, people will continue to make comments. I try to make videos that have stay power, that you guys can go back in 6 months. Hey, Avery did a video on leveling frets. Let me go find that video. Or Avery did this. Or, you know, I want to make it. Don't be scared. I saw someone leave a comment that they didn't want to do it. Man, buy yourself a $90 groat on Amazon and play with it. It's $90. It's a $90 guitar. If you mess it up, it's no big deal. Have fun. Take the strings off of it. Buy a couple basic tools. There's a couple starter kits on Amazon that are actually really good that come with some gauges and basic stuff that you need to work on guitars. Get involved. It is so much fun to buy a used instrument. There's all kinds of stuff on, right? This is a buyer's market, guys. Get on Marketplace. If you want to spend a little bit of money and you're kind of handy, now's the time. The market is flooded with used guitars. If you've got the skill just to do a little bit of work, you can get a heck of a guitar really cheap on Marketplace, put a little money in it. It'd be far ahead of the game versus buying something new if you want to take on that job of doing it. And it's fun, guys. Even if you buy, like I said, a $90 groat on Amazon, get it. It's the journey of getting there. You know, if you do the bad fret job, you can do another fret job on it. You're not gonna grind them down to nubs. You know what I mean? And learn. Next one you do, you're gonna get better. Next one you do, you're gonna get better. Just like Floyd Roses. The more you mess with them and the more you set them up, the better you'll become at them. They're not difficult, guys. You got to take that leap of faith and get one, play with it, put strings on it, and learn. Everyone knows I was playing the RGA for months. It's a fixed tail. I think there's a place for both. But it's a journey that you got to decide to go down. If you're one of those players that hit the low E and then come down here and bend, a Floyd Rose and a floating tremolo is not the system for you. Because when you do that, your low E is going to go out of tune. So
BCG says, what does 40 hours of heck cost?
40 hours of, well, for me, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I
neck.
don't, 40
hours of neck cost.
Well, that's what I was saying. It goes down to labor rate. So what I make at my job is 3 times the amount that I charge working on guitars. It's just how it is. Because if I charged what that would be, okay, you're looking at, you know, $1,600-$1,700 to do a neck. That's 40 hours. And you guys, your chins might be hitting the table. I live in Northern Virginia, guys. I have an 800 square foot house. An 800 square foot house where I live, the taxes alone are $4,500 a year just for the taxes. It's really expensive here. Personal property tax is really expensive here. I would love to work on guitars. I'm just not in an area where I could do it. I can't, you know, you can say I'm not fast enough. You could say, and a lot of it's tools. You know, if you're doing it for a living, you're not sitting here with a Dremel tool doing individual tools. If I was forced to do it with a living, I would buy a big buffer, okay? And I'd put a big buffer wheel on it this big around, and I would just take the whole neck, and I would do a rough buff like that. Is it going to be as good? No. Because you're hitting the neck and everything. That's what Gibson, that's what all these companies do. They're taking the neck and just running across the buffing machine. It's quick and fast. You're making money. You got to make money. You got to pay that employee. I get it. Again, that's why you're paying $7,000 for a sure. Keep that in mind. There's a reason why the Shure and the Tyler are really expensive. When you get into your custom shop, that's one guy building the whole guitar, and he's just back there with hand tools. That's what you're paying for. Is the company making money? Sure. If someone in this chat wants to complain about it, if you start a business, what do you start a business for? To make money. I don't know anyone that starts a business that doesn't want to make money. And you got to make money because you got to pay your employees. And after you pay your employees, you got to pay the taxes and the workers' comp and the rent building and the electric and the tooling and the stuff that get the employees break. And the retirement and federal unemployment tax. I really want to file for federal unemployment. I mean, I pay it. Where do I file for federal unemployment? You pay it. You pay it for the whole first quarter. You don't see it unless you're self-employed. Your employer pays it for you. But there is no federal unemployment to draw. All these things the company has to pay. And then they got to pay that tech good. So when you buy that product, they have to make enough money to pay all that stuff, you know, keep their shareholders happy, and then pay the employees. That's why you're paying that kind of money. So yeah, 40 hours, it's expensive. Normally what I charge for a guitar like I did on the Ibanez to rework a neck like that, it would probably be in the $700 range. That's about what I would charge to reshape the neck, because we also sanded all the Jatoba fingerboard. I reshaped all the frets. I redid the dressings, polished the frets. It's actually got 4.5 coats of tried and true on the back of the neck, 2 coats of tried and true on the fingerboard, and I did some work in the neck pocket here a little bit. There was a chip and worked on that. There was a ton of stuff. You have to go back and look at that. I know I'm missing. Oh, I had to fix some inlays. So that would be about $700 is what I would charge somebody. And it would be done after hours here at the house. And you guys might be saying that's an awful price. It's really not, because you have to make money. Everyone here has to put food on the table. And that's what it's about. Yeah, I love guitars, but at the same token, I would rather be playing my guitar than working for free. Okay? YouTube is different. I do it for the community. I did that for Brian and Brian's channel. And you're like, well, you have nothing to do with Brian's channel. You're right, I don't. I don't have anything to do with Brian's channel. But when Brian reached out to me, and I saw the guitar, I was like, wow, he's going to give this guitar away. How can I contribute? There wasn't any more about it. There wasn't, hey, Brian, You pay me $500 if I fix this guitar? No. I knew it was a giveaway. That's my contribution to the giveaway. Hey, that's just the kind of person I am. Am I always right? Am I always a saint? Absolutely not. Nobody, if you're going to tell me that you're a saint and you're always perfect, you're a liar. We all have bad and good days. Some days we feel generous. Some days we feel stubborn and hateful and whatever you want to call it. You know, when I get like that, I just pray to the Lord and say, give me strength. Make me a better person. And I try every day to be a good person. And hopefully you guys see that in the reviews. That's why I am the way I am. I'm not going to tell you something that I'm going to have to answer for later. If I think that it's an issue, it's an issue. But I always qualify it. A lot of the guitars we review are budget guitars. I can't expect a $300 guitar to play like my Schecter. And I don't think I ever say, oh, this isn't as good as my Schecter. I don't think I've ever qualified like that. But I do expect frets to be level. And I do expect a halfway decent setup. Let me see that you attempted something. Okay? And put some decent pickups on. At a $300 price point guitar, it should have that. The Gretsch we just reviewed, it had that. Are the pickups perfect? No. Was the fret level perfect? No. It wasn't. But it was pretty good. I think we found, what, 2 frets that were just a little high, a little teeny weeny high? And the pickups were okay. They're not great, but they're far better than any Firefly or Leo James or Tees that I've had my hands on. Or Grote or Valgoa. I can name a bunch of budget guitars. That's the best pickup I've heard on any budget guitar. And it's $319. So it's a little bit more. I know. It's a little bit more money. But you're getting a better guitar to start with. So you can buy that guitar for $319 and not have any issues. Play it right out of the box. It's a good sounding guitar. It's a good sounding guitar. There's nothing to modify there. It really isn't. So keep that in mind, guys. I'm always in the back of my head trying to think about stuff like that. I did it during the Tees review, you know, trying to stay positive. I wish Torsion the best of luck. There's a reason why I don't do what he's doing. There's no money in it, and I don't want the headache from it. I'm not going to do it for $75 a guitar. I would be in a soup line. I have no interest in that, if that makes sense. My skill set is different. Maybe that's his skill set. Maybe that's what he lives for and he's passionate about it so he can make it work. Me, on the other hand, I could not do that. That's not me. Leo James, there's no way that he's making a ton of money on those guitars either. There's just not a lot of fat there, guys, if that makes sense. It comes down to low-cost products. You have to sell a lot of them to make money. You got to sell a lot of them. That means you have to have a platform to sell that product. You got to move product. A website and a Google listing, you're not going to move a lot of product. You got to have help. Whether that's through Sweetwater, on Amazon, something that you can get your product name out in front of people. That's why a lot of these smaller companies reach out to YouTube channels, especially smaller YouTube channels. They're more apt to review it and give them a shining review because they're getting a product. It's less money that YouTube channel has to put up to get a product to review. I see both sides, guys. Don't believe me. I get it. And there's a side of me that says I don't want to do YouTube anymore just because of that. But I still do it. And I do it just for the reasons that I just said. There's too many channels out there doing it for that reason. If that makes sense. All right, I've chatted enough. And you guys, I sound like a broken record. Please go to Discord. Please enter to win this beautiful guitar. We're going to work on it. And again, everyone, please say thank you to Stephen for donating this guitar. Anyone that gave a super chat during this live stream, that's what funds the channel. Donations fund the channel. And if you're a company, we're honest here. Send me your product. I'll give you an honest review. If you want to know what that's going to be before I post it, so be it. If you tell me not to post it, I will not post it and I will not disclose anything. But that's up to you to fix your product. I will expect you to send me something when you get it fixed. You need to be honest. Send a product that you want an honest review on, and it doesn't even need to necessarily fit me. If, as long as the build quality is good, you're going to get a good review. All right, guys. Again, go down, hit the thumbs up button. If you haven't already, please subscribe. We are trying to grow the channel. Any pointers or anything that this channel needs to do, I am all ears. Anyone that you see with a blue wrench as a moderator, you can shout out at them as well. They talk to me a lot, and they listen to the channel. Okay, they're listening and watching to every post that you guys put up. That's their job. So things that we need to work on, you can point it out to one of the blue wrench guys, and they're going to make sure that I'm aware of it, because we have a moderator's room and we can talk and figure out what the future of the channel is going to be and the direction and how we do things. It's not just me, it's a community. All right, guys, thank you so much. And we're not going to do another stream after this one. We're kind of put everything all together. This one really wasn't a review, because it's a guitar you can't buy anymore. It's a standard Thursday night review. I apologize. If you had any questions, Linnell would have hollered out at me. Now, keep it also, that's something else I want to bring up. The moderators have to review. Yeah, they're going to say something to Linnell, and then Linnell comes in. There's a lot of stuff that goes on during the review. So if I don't directly respond to you, that's really not what the channel does. This live stream has always kind of worked this way, if that makes sense. Important things will get thrown out. I depend on the people with blue wrenches, and I depend on the other people in the chat to answer that. Does that kind of make sense? It's called a community for a reason. So if Devastator or Malachi or Birdman or Kurt or whoever, Mini Guitar Society, whoever it is, if they have the answer, they're going to post it. They want to help. As long as you're asking intelligent questions, someone's going to give you an answer in that chat. Does that kind of make sense, guys? So that's what it's about. We're supposed to get together, talk about friends and ask questions and let everyone discuss what they think's best for that particular situation. I'm just one person. I mean, I can give you my opinion. That's what the other guys are giving you, their opinion. Then after all that's said and done, it's still your choice whether you buy it or you do it the way they told you to do it, or whatever that option was. It's still up to you to take that information with a grain of salt or whatever, and then do what's going to make you happy. Because a guitar that I might like, you might hate. I've said it a million times. If it feels right in your hands, it sounds good to you, that's the guitar for you. All right, guys. Thank you so much, and we'll see you Saturday night. I don't know what we're doing Saturday night, but I'm going to make a list. Thank you so much, guys. Without you guys, I couldn't do this. Thanks for everyone that give a super chat. And we're coming on, a long time on YouTube. And we're trying to grow the channel. So please tell other people about it. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Here's our 5-minute ending chat window.